Good morning, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Grandpa coming to you from the living room in Jack's Beach. I was going to go out, and it's damp out there. Must have rained overnight, so I didn't want to mess up the equipment. I'm going to try something new. When we get to the book of Matthew, I'm going to try doing webcams, and and so you won't have to look at your dopey looking grandpa with his funny looking hats on in bad lighting. We're in chapter 48 of Genesis. Today we're going to look at the blessing of Manasseh and Ephraim. Not going to get into this too much, but when the children of Israel wind up leaving Egypt and going uh, back into the promised land, the Holy Lands, they there's 12 tribes, and they always have to figure out how to have 12 tribes. So it would be the tribe of Joseph, but it's split up, the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh. And actually, when the kingdom splits in two, you have Judah in the south, the fourth son. And instead of Joseph, the next to the last son, the 11th son of Jacob, the kingdom is called Manasseh. Or I'm sorry, Ephraim. But I don't want this to be a Bible study. This is about reading the Word of God and letting it speak to us. So I'm just going to fill some things like that in as we go along, but don't want to get into the weeds, as they say. Chapter 48 begins, "After these things, Joseph was told, 'Your father is weakening.' So he took his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, with him. When Jacob was told, 'Your son Joseph has just come to you,' Israel regained strength and sat up on his bed. Jacob said to Joseph, 'The sovereign God appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me.'" And we read that story. "He said to me, 'I am going to make you fruitful and will multiply you. I will make you into a group of nations, and I will give this land to your descendants as an everlasting possession. Now as for your two sons, who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt, they will be mine.'" So he's actually adopting these two sons. Now, if you remember, when Jacob started having children, he wanted to marry Leah, or he wanted to marry Rachel, but Uncle Laban, the dad, swapped sisters out, and he got Leah, the older one, and Laban went, "Well, you work for me 7 more years, and you can have Rachel also." So Leah started having kids, and Rachel didn't. Judah was the fourth child of Leah, and Joseph was the first child of Rachel. So in Joseph's mind, the tribe should um, devolve to Joseph upon his death, and his death is imminent here. "Ephraim and Manasseh will be mine, just as Reuben and Simeon are. Any children that you father after them will be yours. They will be listed under the names of their brothers in their inheritance. But as for me, when I was returning from Paddan, Rachel died, to my sorrow, in the land of Canaan. It happened along the way, some distance from Ephrath. So I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, and that is Bethlehem." So Rachel's buried where Jesus was born, in Bethlehem. Or not, Yeah, where he was born. Yeah. When Israel saw Joseph's sons, he asked, "Whose are these?" Joseph said to his father, "These are the sons God has given me in this place." His father said, "Bring them to me so I may bless them." Now Israel's eyes were failing because of his age. He was not able to see well. So Joseph brought his sons near to him, and his father kissed them and embraced them. Israel said to Joseph, "I never expected to see you again, but now God has allowed me to see your children too. But remember this, Jacob is the trickster." He's a conniver. So I think something's going to happen here. So Joseph moved them from Israel's knees and bowed down with his face to the ground. Joseph positioned them. He put Ephraim on his right hand across from Israel's left hand, and Manasseh on his left hand across from Israel's right hand. Then Joseph brought them closer to his father. Israel stretched out his right hand and placed it on Ephraim's head, although he was the younger. Crossing his hands, he put his left hand on Manasseh's head, for Manasseh was the firstborn. So just like Jacob was a usurper, he was the younger, but he stole the birthright for lentil soup. Now Joseph wants the oldest to be blessed because these guys are now taking over his spot in the tribe. So he wants the older one to be blessed. Not because he loves him more, just because he's the older one. And that's the way that the world works. God works differently. And God uses people like Jacob, tricksters. Then Joseph brought them closer to his father. Wait a minute. Then he blessed Joseph and said, "May the God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has been my shepherd all my life long to this day, the angel who has protected me from all harm, bless these boys. May my name be named in them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac. May they grow into a multitude on the earth." When Joseph saw his father placed his right hand on Ephraim's head, it displeased him. So he took his father's hand to move it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's head. Joseph said to his father, "Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head." So what do you think Jacob's going to do? But his father refused and said, "I know, my son, I know. He too will become a nation, and he too will become great. In spite of this, his younger brother will be even greater, and his descendants will become a multitude of nations." So he blessed them that day, saying, "By you will Israel bless," saying, "May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh." So he put Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joseph, "I am about to die, but God will be with you and will bring you back to the land of your fathers. As one who is above your brothers, I give to you the mountain slope, which I took from the Amorites with my sword and my bow." And I don't even know what that was. So next time we're going to look at the blessing of Jacob. And we're going to see that his children all around him, and he's going to give blessings to each one, and they're prophetic. Until then, peace out. I don't know why it does the balloons, but it does.